Here we go!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Super Fantasy Bros Super League.
Are you still there?
I'm 2-7. That's cool.
Hey, you're still here, man.
I'm
you're
still
fulfilling
here.
your obligations.
I am. I made it. I set up a table and I set up a camera and a microphone for the one or two of you who watches.
It takes a big man.
Shout out Boston.
It takes a big man to still come on the show and do all of this.
It's
Get
so
in there
fucking
records.
brutal.
7.
I don't want to.
So that's our sad host Mike, and here's our first time guest Patrick Franklin
Happy
in the
to be
house.
here. Brought a friend with me.
Hide your Chubby Johnson,
Best basketball player of all time, Draymond Green.
best shit talker from Michigan State.
That's right.
Yeah.
I share a body type with him, and
I think we all do.
yeah, I can relate. You know, absolutely. My mother isn't quite as volatile.
Well, in all honesty, you're taking over for a guy that's been here a couple times with a similar body type. So you're just getting a little like you're lengthening out basically.
Brad Pitt was here.
Sure.
Brandon Belt, actually.
All day today, I've been comparing Tim to different people. Earlier, I compared him to Oscar Pistorius,
Just Jason Bateman. You got
Jason Bateman, and I don't know, man. All these
No one's ever been able to get
the midterm elections. Beto O'Rourke.
Oh,
The dude that ran against Ted
Yeah,
Cruz.
dude.
I haven't
So
actually looked
fucking
at what
proud
he
of you
looks
guys,
like.
man.
He did well. All right. Yeah, I'll take
There
it.
you go. Everyone likes
Let's go.
him, dude.
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
Beto 2020, man.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll
hype
take
is
that
real.
all day.
My goodness.
He's got my vote.
Alrighty
And
then.
he likes football because he's from Texas.
Yeah,
He has
everyone
to.
from football likes Texas. It's legitimately a law.
Everyone from football likes
If
Texas.
you don't, they stone you to death in the streets.
That was
Texas
good.
style.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to.
Talking about my nightmare.
Yeah, maybe this is what I need to switch my season around. I'm
Or-
on a 3-game losing streak.
or-
So.
If you're anyone but Tim on this podcast, it tends to go bad for you. Look at me and Cole and Teef.
Dude, I'm the next I'm the next domino to fall. My team has 4 Qs on players right now. So
Brutal.
Yeah, and I scored a whopping 80 points last week. So let's not say that I just have won anything yet.
A team that I co-manage with my buddy, who we happen to be in second place in the league, we scored 40 last week in a 12-team
shit.
standard league.
That's some kind of record.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. 3 O's.
Who'd you have in a couple,
Adrian
Oof.
Peterson. We started Devontae Parker.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it was just a bad week overall.
That's hard to do.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I'm very impressed with myself.
Yeah.
Mike gave me a couple pointers and we promptly lost.
Yeah,
So,
you're welcome.
yeah, thanks.
It's going well for me. All right, so what we decided we would do to start the week this week is we figured we'd go over like all the teams down the standings, and we'll give like a best possible scenario and a worst possible scenario, and discuss like maybe some pitfalls or good things about the teams.
So stay tuned because we're going to talk about your team.
Yeah,
We're calling this segment the optimist and the pessimist.
yeah.
These do not reflect our actual beliefs in all these teams, just the worst case or best case scenarios for them going forward.
Yep. And so we'll start with the.
Do we want to go top to bottom or bottom to top?
That's a good question. Let's
go-
go bottom to top.
Right?
Let's go bottom to top.
Yeah.
Let's work our way up. Let's start with the person I'm hoping takes last place because or really anyone but me because I don't want someone to design a T-shirt for me.
No, I just want Justin to lose because
I don't want to Photoshop my own T-shirt.
League reminder: there is unspoken rule.
Whoever takes first place gets to design a team logo, pick the team name, and design a T-shirt that the loser must wear in public. And I lend my Photoshop skills to all of you.
Cole, bless his heart, he fulfilled that obligation last year. Am I right?
No, he wasn't. No, no, Trisha.
You just make hilarious photos of him on.
I just make
t-shirt.
hilarious photos of Cole because it's fun.
Yeah.
No, Trisha took last place in our league last year and then promptly abandoned the league. So
Yeah. Well, that's cool if you just drop.
so we all won.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got Sean, so in a way we all lost.
We won. We won, but did we? Yeah.
Of the 6 or 7 people still in the mix, realistically, for this.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be the most ruthless with this last place punishment if they were to win the league?
I think Sean could be kind of diabolical.
You think so?
He's got that.
He
vibe.
does have that quick temper that doesn't
Yeah.
come out too often.
I
He's
mean,
married.
thank God.
He's
Let's
married
just
now,
say
so
thank
his
God
life,
Justin's
his life is
not
over.
If
So-
Justin was winning, the
I think
league,
Justin
I'd be
would go
scared.
soft. I think like we would like to think he's brutal, but I think he would go pretty soft on like a punishment.
If
I
I win,
disagree.
If I win and Justin gets last, I assure you that he won't talk to me for at least 6 months. He's done it
Oh my
before.
God, I
He's done it before for much less. So it's definitely a possibility.
You know who I think would be pretty brutal actually is Chopik. Chopik's had like told me ideas he's had in the past, and it's not like a specific thing to like any person who takes last. It's just something that would get you arrested if you wore it in public, the kind of
Right.
thing. Like he goes dark with it.
Like Black Lives Don't Matter.
Some worse than that. Like you can say that out loud. You can't say what he said out loud. But
Yeah, like on drunk Bart rides home, he tells you these things. He's like, you're like, you should probably keep.
I'm
that
like,
to
I
yourself,
can't
Joe."
Photoshop that. I won't Photoshop that. I thought there were no limits, but there are some. Yeah, no, Chopik would be pretty brutal. I feel like Timur would be brutal because Timur doesn't know the line in social conversation.
I could see what you're saying.
So it wouldn't be like he would think it's funny, and then you would put the shirt on and you would feel sad. You know what I mean? That's what I could see from
I think your
Timur's
mom
story.
wouldn't love you anymore.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Wow.
Well, we can only hope for the best or the worst.
Just don't get last, people.
I'm
Yeah,
hoping.
absolutely. Sorry,
Dude, that's
Justin.
like my only goal at this point. Like, I mean, I'm not mathematically eliminated. Actually, no one is yet. This will be the week which starts that, probably. So,
Well,
it's-
hey, we're
gonna be
we should
interesting.
make an announcement. We're recording this on a Thursday, so a game has already taken place. It is week 10.
It was a
and-
barn burner.
Yeah, 52-21. The Steelers destroy the Panthers, and I bring this up because Justin's team scored a whopping 34 points on Pat, who has not run into very much good luck in the last few weeks.
Or the whole year. The most points scored against me.
Did not know that. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense considering you have a good team that's been performing and you're 5-4. So Justin could pull the really big upset and may not be our last place guy. But let's go
don't
ahead.
do that to me.
He's only projected to beat me by 10 points.
I still
even
maintain-
after the huge week by Christian McCaffrey.
I do need him to win this week, though, if I'm not to be mathematically eliminated.
The
So-
ultimate upset would be Jordan beating Sean. He scored 48.7 with Roethlisberger and Vance McDonald tonight.
Jordan
6
can win
touchdowns.
too. Jordan can win too without mathematically eliminating me. So it's
Start a
fine.
goddamn kicker, Jordan.
It's
He already did.
It's unlikely considering Sean's projected for 546 points.
Yeah.
God
damn, that team.
Fucking bullshit team. James Conner.
Yeah,
He's a
James
Steelers
fucking
fan,
Conner.
so I can't. You know that?
Is he a Steelers fan?
Sean's a big Steelers fan, yeah.
This explains so much.
And a Penn State fan. Pre and post
I like Steelers.
Joe the Toucher.
I knew it.
Sandusky.
I
Yeah,
knew it,
Sandusky.
Sean.
I knew it had something
Well,
close.
Joe
I knew you were
Paterno
one of
and
Sandusky's
I can't
boys.
remember Sandusky's first name. Thank God.
I think it's Joe, isn't it?
It's Jerry.
Is it? Yeah, there
Jerry.
you go. There you go.
Scary Jerry.
Never going to name my
Scary
son that
Jerry.
name. I'll tell you that right now. So yeah, we have some underperformers that are overperforming so far this week. So that's fun. So like, let's talk about bottom to top.
Let's
Best
do it.
case. Cool.
So we'll start with Rocket Man. Rocket Man.
Okay. The man has Kareem Hunt, the RB4. He also has Christian McCaffrey, scored 2 touchdowns tonight, the RB8. Basically, 2 stud RB1s. How are you not doing better, Justin? Okay,
don't
let's
know.
find out. So he's got Jimmy Graham, and he drafted 3 tight ends that somehow are he still has 3 tight ends on his team.
How does he still?
Be that as it may,
And 3 defenses.
Amari Cooper did just get traded to a team where his situation is going to improve. And
Has already improved.
yeah, he got his touchdown last week. He gets a good matchup this week against the Eagles, and I could see him pulling off. Gosh, he would end up 5-7 at this point, and so basically the possibilities of playoffs are like infinitesimal.
I mean,
But-
it's doable. I'm still a believer in me.
So if
I don't know why.
Like as an optimist looking at this team, I have to kind of micromanage. So if I were him, I would drop Stafford, try to figure out my quarterback situation with streamers rather than holding him. Drop one of these tight ends. He has 3 defenses on his team, so like that's clearly what his issue is. It's the depth, but I would still say that Cooper, Jackson, Scantling can always blow up any given week. You got Hunt and McCaffrey just holding down the fort given any week. And Graham with Rodgers, we haven't seen that connection happen yet. It's going to happen. We all know that. So that team is capable of putting up over 100 points every single week and competing.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that must have snake bit him all year was just a letdown of the Jaguars D. I mean, they're 18th ranked in our league right now. And they're still sexy in a lot of ways. You still want to start them every week. You know, you look at Jalen Ramsey and he's talking shit, and you're like, all right,
yeah,
I think they can do this. That being said, his team looks good on paper, but when's the last time you heard someone say, I won my fantasy league with Andy Dalton as my quarterback? Or Matt Stafford, for that matter.
It's true. You can stream quarterbacks. You can stream quarterbacks.
Yeah, you can't stream them away from 2-7. Sorry, Justin, you're done.
He's done record-wise, but this team's way better than 2-7. Like, I think he kind of gave up early because a lot of shit wasn't hitting, and now it's kind of like all coming together too late. That's why I think it could compete. But like Diggs is sitting on his bench because he's on bye. But if he had better roster management, this could have gone better. So.
Watching the Cowboys game last week, it was clear that Amari Cooper is going to get a lot of targets.
He's going to be a low-end wide receiver 2 this season, I think.
He's almost a low-end wide receiver 1.
Nah, I mean it's so hard to be a wide receiver 1, but he's in the wide receiver 2 conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so okay.
All right, well that moves.
Sorry. Jason Myers, the number 1 kicker in fantasy, is on this team.
Holy
I forgot.
Shit.
All right,
shut it down.
Super Bowl.
Someone call ESPN.
All right, sorry about that. Go ahead.
All right, well that moves us to my favorite team in the league.
Are you next?
Yeah. I'm next.
Oh shit! All right, take it away, brother.
All right, well
You're worse than Jordan in the standings
currently. Before we get into me, I do want to quickly segue into like that little mini segment I have, which is what the fuck went wrong? I don't understand. Like I understand, but I don't understand.
You're killing
upset.
me, Smalls. I had you in the playoffs.
I'm very upset.
I think the first thing that went wrong for you is that you joined the league with me, Sean, Kim, and Tim.
I've beaten you and Tim.
Historically speaking, that's generally a bad idea.
I will eventually beat Sean Kim as well. There will come a day. But I have
physically or in fantasy.
Whatever must be done will be done. But no, I was looking at this the other day and I was really like contemplating what went wrong with my team because on paper, a lot of things should have gone right. Like
I'll tell you what happened. Dalvin fucking Cook happened.
This is exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I had Saquon Barkley. I went running back
and
heavy.
Aaron Jones. Yeah.
I went running back heavy in the first 3 rounds. I had Saquon, Dalvin Cook, and then
Freeman
you may know his name, Royce Freeman.
Yeah.
And but I made moves that make sense too. Like as soon as Royce Freeman kind of lost that starting job, I got Phillip Lindsay. I shouldn't have been able to, but I did. I traded
the bane of Royce Freeman,
Tyreek Hill and Marshawn Lynch to get Julio Jones, which I think is an upgrade. Julio Jones over Tyreek Hill, personally.
Absolutely.
The nice thing is Marshawn Lynch went down, and you know what I did? I went and I grabbed Doug Martin, who took over his carries for the most part. I dropped.
You had Latavius.
I dropped Trey Burton and got OJ Howard, which is an upgrade, and he's been really, really good. I've got
Funchess and Crabtree really went sideways though.
They both have
you
been
got a sorry ass receiver on your team.
Yeah. But I mean, Cooper Kupp and Julio Jones, like pretty good, and like there's just like a lot of like upside on this team. But you know what really fucked me? I went through every week and I figured it out. I suck at streaming defenses this year. Defense is my crutch. Like the weeks I won are the weeks when my defense was positive. Every other week, 0 or negative. Every other week.
This week you might be okay.
Yeah, I have hope. And then, like, my kickers have been horrifying.
I was going to look at this. He started out with a negative 8.5.
What, my defense?
You started the Saints, which I did in the league as well.
Yeah, I was.
But in our league really hammers defense if you kind of pay attention to the box scores. Like, the yardage against can get really bad really fast in this league.
Anyone starting Carolina today?
So you started the league.
Bad boat.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But if you look, like the weeks where I had like a good defense and a decent kicker,
you started the season with negative 8.5.
Yeah.
But then you got negative 0.2.
Yeah. I'm not joking. It's brutal if you go through my defense and kickers. And like if like I hadn't whiffed on my second and third pick with a Dalvin Cook and a Royce Freeman, then I can recover from a bad defense and a bad kicker. But with Dalvin Cook and Royce Freeman shitting the bed on a constant basis for me, it's like, yeah, Saquon Barkley's a baller. Drew Brees is a baller. Julio Jones is a baller. But you can't overcome when you have negativity and like.
You've probably had more negative starts than positive starts on your
I
defense.
have.
That is unbelievable. And a 0 last week.
Yeah.
You really have to nail your 2 out of your first 3 picks to be competitive in a fantasy league.
It's really true. And
unless you get the James Conner.
Now, if you look at the start of the season, though, you think like what Dalvin Cook could be if he hadn't gotten hurt. And if Royce Freeman hadn't lost the job to Philip Lindsay, which no one saw coming, Philip Lindsay was like undrafted in something like 92% of leagues. I looked it up.
He kind of looks like Tim. Like,
It's
who thought he was
brutal.
going to win?
Wow. Okay.
But like,
Can I bring up some interesting? I like to bring these little factoids in. Dalvin Cook had the fastest clocked run this season last week.
Yeah, I
He hit
think
the
as
hole
a
and
running
just,
back?
Yeah, as a rush.
For sure.
And it was just like, whoa, oh yeah, right. He's incredible. He only got a 4.4 something at the combine. He's not like that fast.
But his burst.
His football speed is like,
Yeah.
yeah. I have him in a league
if he hadn't
that I'm
gotten
in
hurt-
with Pat, and it's like so depressing to not see Dalvin Cook all season.
Dalvin and Saquon Barkley should be like a badass running back tandem. It was just not my year. And like, you know what? Next year, look for me to draft a defense in round 4. Round 4. 'Cause I got burned so bad this year. All right,
But I mean-
have fun. Pessimist and optimist, this bullshit.
I mean, we have to talk about just head-to-head leagues. There's always going to be volatility.
No, it's
This,
true.
this,
matter what.
we maintain that this is one of the most competitive seasons, despite the record disparity.
It is my of the 4 leagues I'm in. It's the lowest buy-in, but it's probably my favorite league to play in, just because it's been going on for so long.
And
I
you
mean,
know
maybe,
everyone in it, too.
9 or
And
8
there's-
out of the
and there's some
guys
production
have really
value.
been in it from the start. Yeah. Plus, we have a fucking podcast. Come on.
Come on.
You're welcome.
But it's just a cool league. You know, it's fun to be able to text someone when you want to trade with them, or
Yeah.
it's just nice knowing everybody, and you know we've all known each other for a long time. So
You really can't beat like having like a league of friends. Like it's why when people like Trisha bail out or Zach bails out or just different people bail out. I'm like, it has to be someone that we all know.
Yeah.
Like I'm really specific about
In
that.
one of my
Like,
leagues,
for the most part, we've all known each other since
High school.
I was skinny
Or
and Sean
middle
was fat. And
Yeah.
now Sean is skinny and I'm fat. You know, it's like there's something to that.
that is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. We fucking parent swapped the shit out of each other, and
You guys fucking twins did.
yeah, we fucking bonked heads.
Or, yeah.
And
What is
now-
that? What, is it
and now I can
junior?
throw
Is it
100 mile per hour
junior?
fastballs. The rookie with fucking.
It's like a really sad
the dude
version
from
of the Prince and the
American
Pauper.
Pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my leagues, my friend from college got me into it just real quick, and he he's very dramatic, and just there's been fire on the message boards. I woke up to 49 messages of just back and forth
worse.
shit talk, like not good shit talk, like literally
Like you're a
he's
bitch.
reporting them to the people that run the site based on offensive things that have happened based on conversations. Like,
too much.
yeah, it's gotten a little intense.
Fantasy's
so
not supposed to
I mean, I know
that league's
Chopin and
gonna-
I sometimes get drunk on Sundays and say crazy shit.
Yeah. But that league's been going on for over 10 years probably, and I've been in for at least 7 or 8, and that league's going to dissolve after this season. So
That sucks.
That's
we
a bummer.
should consider ourselves incredibly fortunate
Absolutely.
Yeah.
in
All
these
right.
trying times.
Back to pessimist to optimist. All right, I'm still not mathematically eliminated until Pat wins one more game.
No one bashed your team, dude. Funchess and Crabtree, Freeman bust. Yeah, I mean,
It's those-
you know it.
in a 10
Gabriel
team, in a 10-team league, you can't start guys that could be benched in a 12-team league. Like you need to have that depth, and that's what's hurt me the last few weeks. Like
You didn't
like,
do anything explicitly wrong. I
like
just want you to know
Funchess,
that.
like
It's
Funchess
not
is
your
a
fault.
tough start.
Okay, so we're on to Jordan. Let's do Jordan real
Absolutely.
quick.
Oh, so I didn't even get an optimist. I just got pessimism.
Well, you provide your case for optimism.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I still potentially can make it as long as Pat doesn't win another game, and Timor only wins one.
We're not about to sit here all night.
and
Which would have to
Cole
win
only
us
wins
and-
one.
Which would have to be the last week of the year.
It has to be the last week. It's very specific.
Can I play pessimist on Jordan? All right, you go ahead.
sure.
I think we all are
So the
playing
optimist
pessimist
on Jordan
all
is
year.
that
He just had 40 points from Roethlisberger.
Well, Roethlisberger has 2 home games for the rest of the year, so that's 2 games that he should perform well.
That's good in analysis, though. Roethlisberger has terrible road splits, so he's looking at his home road splits, and he only has 2 more home games.
As borne out today in the Week 10 game where he
Fact.
put up a bunch of points and a bunch of yards, and even ran for like a 25-yard rushing play. The optimist in me wants to say that Leonard Fournette is doomed. T.J. Yeldon will stiff arm Carlos Hyde to the ground and carry all those carries for Jacksonville, a team that may right the ship defensively.
God, his running back one is T.J. Yeldon.
Hopefully,
so
putting
depressing.
the game script for T.J. Yeldon as a rusher.
It's getting desperate.
Frank Gore, drinks the elixir of youth. And,
I love Frank Gore.
Starts putting up mad points as well as basically he needs a time machine. I think.
Well said. Let's transition into mine. Green just got hurt, and the time machine thing is perfect because his team would look really awesome if it was 2017.
Yeah.
Because he's got another great point. He has either 4 current or former Niners on his team: Frank Gore, Vance McDonald, Marquise Goodwin, and Alfred Morris. I mean, what is Alfred Morris? I guess should be rostered. I guess, but like Morris, Clement. Like when you have Le'Veon out all season,
Ebron.
Yeah, his flex is Eric Ebron.
Marquise Goodwin's not,
and Ebron just had Doyle come back.
This is fucking brutal.
It's really gross.
Good lord!
Like Frank Gore starting in a 10-team league is so gross.
Even
his kicker sucks.
Let's. Jordan should be last place.
Yeah, he should.
Teeth and I should be able to overcome this. That is my optimist. Jordan, fuck you. This is awful.
To be real, Luck is going to tear it up and has been tearing it up for the last few weeks. And Roethlisberger. So he always has that guaranteed.
And he has actually really good matchups to stream Luck versus Roethlisberger.
AJ was good in the first half, but AJ being hurt now, that's brutal for him. So.
Let's look at this real quick.
Jordy Nelson, Allen Robinson.
Roll with me, guys. In another world, okay, we're in a time machine. We go back 3 years. He's got Roethlisberger. He's got a QB1. He's got Allen Robinson. That's a wide receiver 1. Jordy Nelson, wide receiver 1.
Oh, big.
He's got AJ. He has 3 wide receiver 1s in 2014, guys.
Totally.
He's got Le'Veon Bell.
This team is ridiculous.
Le'Veon
Actually,
Bell.
it's not even I didn't go far back enough. It's like 2014.
Who, if he was playing, Le'Veon Bell, still a great running back. Just not playing.
Demaryius, he has 4 wide receiver 1s, guys, in 2014. Vance McDonald was super good in college. So
it's T.J. Yeldon, Alabama.
Dude, all these stats are just piling up.
We should probably, at the end of the season...
And legitimately, Frank Gore, competitive every year.
Yeah, it was great.
Frank Gore was ridiculous. We need to take this team, Team AARP, and fucking check what the fantasy scores would be from 2015 or 14 or whatever it is. I guarantee you he would have won the league a couple years ago.
Probably. Yeah,
this pretty solid.
Team. So, good on you, man.
Good job, dude.
Your team is so good.
See if you can find a legal loophole.
You take last place. I don't want it.
I think we're supposed to dissent, but we reached consensus there.
Yeah.
Fuck that team.
Yeah, that's why we're freeballing it.
All right, who we got next?
Now it's Cole's turn. By the way, thanks for letting me down, asshats. Quest for 0-12. Now we're at Quest for 4-8. God damn it. One of them's my fault.
Whereas we hate Jordan's team, but we love the guy. We hate the guy, but we kind of love the team right now.
I'd like to be the optimist for this one.
All right,
Can I start?
Yeah.
The optimist in me wants to say that Cole has a chance to really turn things around and possibly make the playoffs if he streams his team perfectly. Top to bottom, he's got some depth. I mean, you look at this team. Fitzgerald got a new offensive coordinator in Arizona. Hopefully starts acting like his old self a little bit. His bench is almost a starting team.
Almost.
He's got depth.
He's got a lot of depth, but
this
he can only play,
explained.
10 players. It's hard to make the right choice every week.
Given suspension and injury, he has a decent team right now. But he's 4-5, and he has no unless Fournette has a renaissance, he has no wide receiver 1, no running back 1, no quarterback 1. He just has 2s and 3s for his
team
whole
upside.
team.
Yeah.
So it's just what you said is perfect. He has to make the right matchup calls all the time.
All up and down the board, which is tough with Adrian Peterson or Mark Ingram or all these guys that are touchdown dependent.
His team's so deep, he just dropped Calvin Ridley today. So, I don't know what he's... I was wondering what defense he'd pick up. I thought he'd pick up the Bills. him and I are
Well, he
playing
wanted
this
the
week,
Jets,
so.
but I got the Jets on the waivers.
Yeah.
Because
I should have.
I just want one positive defense, guys.
I probably should have kept them. I had them on my team for the past few weeks. And
I dropped the Ravens after 2 negative weeks in a row. They were defense 3, and I got them. I'm going to ruin every team that I get.
So you were personally responsible for John Harbaugh possibly getting fired.
Correct.
Those Ravens.
You're welcome.
Those Ravens sat on the wire above your car of your fantasy team and just took dumps
Just
all
shits.
day.
Good Lord, man. It's like they were crushing it, and then as soon as I get them, they're like, let's stop playing defense. Defense is stupid.
I maintain they're still a good D. I was surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised you dropped them on bye, but I'm eyeing them. Let's go.
Yeah, well, at this point, they've netted me negative, I think, like 8 points total.
I will make a minor amendment. He does have DeAndre Hopkins on bye. Didn't notice that. He does have like the wide receiver 1, so
Right.
I will amend that. But overall, the team is always going to be competitive, but like limited upside.
Just not enough, yeah.
It's not a team that's going to.
You don't have enough guys that are going to put up those 27, 30, 35-point games.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get that like great time, like if Russell comes back, if I'm going to be the optimist, devil's advocate, if you have all of a sudden Wilson, Fournette, Michelle on the Patriots, Hopkins, Hilton,
AP.
I mean AP in your flex, Olsen, that's actually really gross. So like if everything comes together, this could like get nasty, but I feel like it's too little too late for the Cold Master.
It's possible he could actually win the whole thing.
Yes,
there is a
unlikely,
world
but yeah, absolutely.
where things all break right for
Is it
him.
a world we're really betting on, though?
No, but
Cool.
he's has a much better chance than you.
Moving on.
Yeah, well, everyone but Teef does. And Jordan. I actually think I have a better chance
I
than
would
Jordan.
agree with you with that.
So,
Who we got next?
we got Chopik. And actually, I just texted Chopik and told him to set his fucking lineup because he's in contention. So he needs to get his
This
ass
is a
out of
yearly
there.
thing,
Yeah.
considering he has 2 guys on the IR.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
Thank
every
God he's
year.
not going to watch this pod and be mentioning Calvin Ridley. It doesn't matter. Because
Yeah.
He's a waiver 1 because I don't know if he's made a claim all season.
He's got
He never does.
Sean Watson on his bye.
But he's got Wentz on his bench. So I'm going to be the optimist as we're going back and forth. Michael fucking Thomas. Kenny Galladay's been super disappointing. Even
I
though
think he
he's
should
my
move
second
David
half
Johnson
MVP.
in, right? Like, David Johnson
David
should be starting.
Johnson has to start over Crowell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
if we're gonna
Cohen.
and Josh Gordon on his bench. Like this team is really good.
It is.
It's actually
He could-
really easy.
He actually, you could make a very easy case that he could compete into the playoffs and deep into them.
Chopik would be someone
But
who would really
Chopik's-
benefit from like a second owner, where he could draft.
Yeah.
And then you have someone who kind of
He has 2
comes in
players
and
on
manages
injured
it for him.
reserve. One of which that he tore his ACL about 4 weeks ago.
I know, it's insane. It happens every year. He always holds people on his bench. And he always puts a starting lineup out. I will give him that. Like, he has Deshaun Watson in there right now, but he'll eventually set his lineup.
He's the kind of guy you have to increase the buy-in by like tenfold to make him pay attention.
Yeah.
Well, he makes so much goddamn money.
Exactly, playing them stocks. Son of a bitch.
You rich motherfucker. Anyways, pessimist side.
I mean, it's like the pessimist side is that he doesn't like
That's
focus.
true. Chopik is the pessimist side. He's his Achilles
He's
heel.
his own worst enemy. Like that's easy. Like you.
He also has a picture of Donald Trump as his icon, which is like making a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I like that it is the time where he looked up like a goddamn idiot at that. I think it was an inauguration.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's good knowledge.
Yeah. Oh man. Let's not even talk.
It's getting political in here. Beto O'Rourke.
So that's half. That's half of the standings. We're gonna go ahead and take a short break because I have to urinate. And
And I have to watch Tim do it.
Yeah, he's got to hold it. Somebody's got to hold
I'm
it.
his probation officer.
Now we're back with more beer. So where we left off was we finished Chopik's team, and now we're on to Lights Camara Action, which is Timur's team.
Yes.
So who wants to take pessimist? Who wants to take
Why don't
optimist?
you be the optimist for this one? What
Okay.
do you think?
Well, he's got a couple really good players, and Tevin Coleman has come on with Devontae Freeman's injury. Marvin Jones, no more Golden Tate, so I don't like the at-Chicago matchup this week, but in general, I think once Stafford stops getting sacked so much, he's going to hit up Jones down the sideline for, I don't know, I can see consistency like he had at the end of last season. let's not bury the lead. He's got Alvin freaking Kamara, who we will talk about later, and Tyreek Hill, who we will also talk about later, is a couple of the most exciting players in the league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this team, I'm trying to be optimistic. He's got Thielen.
Good top end talent.
Yeah, he's got Thielen, Hill, Kamara. That is some top end talent.
Tom Brady.
He picked up my drop of Trey Boo Boo, who's come alive a little bit.
Yeah, I tend to want to lean towards the pessimistic side, and Pat's helping me with the optimism. I like Trey Burton, and I think he can still be a top 6 tight end rest of season. And he's got Breida in the flex right now, and Thielen's coming back from bye next week. So I mean that's enough with the star power to push it over the top. Brady Trubisky's combo. Eagles D is a really, really good defense coming off in the second half. They're only 23rd ranked right now. Prater's 11th ranked kicker. But I think all those guys, they have upside going forward. This is kind of owner that at least knows all right, what's my rest of season outlook? He's not doing a Brian where it's okay, what do I have right now? This team is good going forward. So I wouldn't want to face this team.
The pessimist in me, other than the top end guys, which I can't really argue against, you look at someone like Tevin Coleman and, the couch GM or the couch coach in us wants to say, all right, now it's his time. Devontae Freeman got hurt. Give him all the looks. But Ito Smith almost split carries with him last week. Steve Sarkisian is a pretty stupid offense coordinator.
They're getting better. And Coleman is RB13, which is exactly where I would have thought he is. And I think he will continue to be high-end RB2.
Yeah, but you just never know, in a timeshare situation like that, where the touchdown goes.
He's so much better than him.
CJ Mostart, or Raheem Mostart, broke his arm last week, so that bodes well for Breida until Breida breaks his arm this week.
Yep.
Breida's
it's that kind of a season for the Niners.
He's the most perpetually injured player in all of the NFL.
Yeah, he's been banged up all year. It seems like some key spots, really to win a 10-team league, you kind of have to be fire all the way up and down.
Yeah.
And there's a couple key spots that just have some question marks.
He's still got a guy on IR. What are people doing with these IR spots still?
You know what I'm realizing as we go through these teams? I'm realizing why I'm having so much trouble on streaming defense. Because everyone's carrying fucking 3.
Yeah.
True.
This is why I'm having
amazing.
such a terrible time this year. Used to be in our league, everyone carried 1, and so I was just sitting there just plum picking my defense every week. I can't stream anymore. That's what I'm learning.
In a vacuum, you look at these trades that happened recently, and in a vacuum, you can be like, all right, this guy's going to be better because now he's getting more looks, or this guy's going to be better because he has a better quarterback. But that's not always the case. Marvin Jones become the number 1 guy in Detroit. That might not necessarily bode well for him.
He might have benefited from going against the second best quarterback for all those years too.
But Galladay is still absorbing a lot of the coverage, and Tate was just taking targets away from Jones. And Jones had a terrible first half, so I would continue my optimistic take on that Jones is going to perform better than he has.
Maybe not this week. Chicago D with Khalil Mack coming back is never fun.
That's true. No, and Stafford took 10 sacks last week and looked like he was in Happy Feet, the movie. So
he gets to face the Bears, so have fun.
Yeah, exactly. But, if I were the pessimistic take, I would have started and ended with LaShawn McCoy. My obvious bust this season, and that's my best call, I think, this season. I didn't even put in my top 50. I was just there's no freaking way I'm drafting this guy.
You're so good at fantasy football.
There's so many experts that had him in their top 40. There's, 8, well over 2/3 of experts.
We're in the presence
of a god.
Well over half.
I like
well
that,
over
no matter how
half
much we
and
make
more.
fun of him, he's no, hear
keep
me.
It going.
I know what I'm
People
saying.
that do this for a living had him ranked in their top 40. A lot of people,
Absolutely.
more than half.
We're very proud of you. We're complimenting you.
I
hate
thought the same
LaShawn
thing. I
McCoy.
stayed away from McCoy like I stay away from having sex with women,
Yeah.
Why do it when you have men?
Yep.
That's a great point.
By the way, another thing I remembered about my team that's the reason I failed so hard is that I was high on Chris Hogan. Fuck you, Chris Hogan.
Yep. The one league I drafted Chris
I hope
Hogan, I had wide receiver 2 issues.
I hope he gets really severe hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
Either way,
yeah, these two teams, I think Chope's team and Timor's team are very similar in that, like, great upside, great talent. Managing is subpar because they have players on IR on their bench, and I'm like kind of looking at this league right now, being like, "Come on, people!
just
like,
put in another 20 minutes a week. That's all it takes.
for real." Like,
You don't even have to put in that many. I put in there are weeks where I put in 5 minutes, and I know I'm doing more work than a lot of people.
you know who you're helping? You're helping Brian Cole. Hope you're happy.
I do want to take a
See
moment.
that face?
I do want to take a moment and congratulate you on your breakout season, Cooper Cup. You're doing really well.
Thanks.
Yeah, you look like him too.
Yeah, my flowing blonde locks.
If you're a
were-
white guy, you look
Yeah.
like Tim Shirtliff.
apparently, or half black, as Philip Lindsay would.
Yes.
That was a stretch. I'll admit to that. Let's move on.
All right, well, we move on to one of our panelists. It is time for Pat's team. We've got the Hydra
Mike,
Chubby Johnsons.
You've been pretty quiet. Why don't you like rail into this team? Go.
Yeah, go ahead. You guys have been doing it every week on this podcast.
He loves
apparently.
Judge Ito so much. Let's talk about it.
That's right. Last week we had the revelation that Ito Smith is actually named after Judge Ito.
From the trial.
That's
His
a real
mom
true
named him
fact. Did you
Judge
know that?
Ito.
Was it from the OJ trial?
Yes. Did you know
His
that?
first name is named after.
I didn't know
Judge
that, and it made my whole day last time.
Wow.
That was like
Isn't that crazy?
now I'm
pretty cool.
Now I'm an Ito Smith
Is
fan.
I mean, it's cool that he became a running back and he's going to grow up to murder his white wife. Yeah.
Jesus, and true, but
Welcome back to the podcast, Justin Tifaton.
We can cut this stuff, right?
oh, I'm
I
keeping
guess
it.
we have to.
I'm keeping it. No, I mean I like Pat's team. Well, my whole thing this whole year has been I could see where chinks were gonna in the armor could be,
Sure.
but I mean he has Melvin Gordon.
It's similar to some of the other things we talked about, right?
He's got Aaron Rodgers, and I'll admit it. I jerk off to Aaron Rodgers. God damn.
I am similar to you. Kind of
That's
like Aaron
you're
Rodgers,
basically
actually.
Mike McCarthy because that's what he does with his team. He just goes, "All right, Rodgers, win it." Like that's his
But
strategy.
my
every
downside
week.
has been, since I'm assuming Pat's going to take the upside on his team, my downside has been that I'm always anti Odell Beckham Jr. I've just been burned by him. I just think that he's one of those people that he
got
has
paid and he shut up and he's doing well. So
yeah, but at the same time he's also one of those people who just he can throw a tantrum at any given moment. So I always worry about him. Ito Smith, I mean, not the best running back too, but I think that's a bye week situation.
Absolutely.
Really. That's not like Pat's going to be starting Ito Smith the rest of the fucking year.
well, he's starting him or Miller.
But he got rid of all the Browns players, so I stopped
change your
railing
team
on
name.
that.
I will.
You should have best friends forever because Beckham and Landry are best.
But
friends.
everyone got
yeah.
so hyped on the Browns after Baker Mayfield.
and Hard Knocks.
Yeah, and Hard Knocks. And I've always just been that person that's like, the Browns are going to brown.
But they didn't brown this year. They've actually been semi-competitive.
Yeah.
They have relevant fantasy players.
But, I mean, statistically, I mean, well, what's their record? Don't they only have one win still?
they're probably 2-5-1 right now.
I thought they only have one
I
win.
think they are 2-5-1.
Even still, that's
That sounds right.
it's brutal. But I don't think they'll make the playoffs. But everyone was like, Baker Mayfield's going to lead them to the promised land. It's a new era for the Browns. Chopik and me texted after Baker Mayfield won. He's like, what's your over under on the Browns? I'm like, give me some context. He's like, I think 6, 7 wins.
Jeez.
And I was like, no.
Well, we did this
4.
on the pod.
Yeah.
We did this with Brian, and a
I
couple
believe the
weeks
Vegas
ago,
line was 2.5.
and we did.
This season.
Oh, that's ridiculous. No, it was better than that.
2.5 or 3.5.
No,
It
the
was
Cardinals was the
3.5.
worst. The Cardinals were the worst at 5.5
Yeah.
wins. The Vegas odds are usually all within 12 wins to 5.
Because that's how they
And
make the
worst-
most money.
Sure.
Right. And at a certain point in the season, the Browns were 1-2-1 or something. We were what's over under on wins, and it was 4.5, and we all said under. So
But yeah, my big complaint on Pat's team has always been Browns players. I'm still not a Jarvis Landry believer. And your wide receiver core is all right, but
he's got Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz is good. Aaron
So
Rodgers is
good.
good. Melvin Gordon's good. Odell Beckham Jr.
Bay Area, baby.
Despite me hating Odell Beckham Jr., he's good. But it's also a volatile team.
I think
Right.
calling
That's why you're
card-
on the losing streak, but you were also on the winning streak.
The
to start
calling
the
card
year.
for every team but Sean's right now is star-studded and then question marks.
Yeah.
We just talked about with Chope and Timor. and Pat were going to get into mine in the same situation.
I like the Cortland Sutton pickup, though.
Yep.
I'll give you that.
I have them
like
in
that
3
a lot.
leagues. I hope it's good.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that a lot.
As far as my team,
You still got Keelan Cole. Good for you, dude. You drafted Keelan Cole
like
in
him.
like the 9th round or some shit.
I'm optimistic.
I gotta
I'm
give you
optimistic
credit.
about my team because
How's that working out for you?
I'm optimistic about my team because 60% of our league
You still
spends
can't.
about 10 minutes setting their lineups. So
Valid.
and as far as the Browns players go, you guys are making fun of me for having all 3 of those running backs, but if I would have held on to all of them, I would have been in a decent position right now.
You
All
have,
3 of
you
them are
have,
rosterable
you
starters.
currently have the worst one.
I absolutely do. Which is
But
the most
that's what
bullshit.
anyone would have.
Which is the most bullshit trade in the world. Like, why did they even do that? I don't understand why they traded for Carlos Hyde.
That was the Jags?
Like, why?
Doesn't make a lot
you
of
have
sense.
Fournette coming back. Yeldon was doing fine.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't even given him
I
carries.
think it's because Corey Grant got hurt. Because like after Corey Grant, like a lot of these teams, like the reason the Saints just signed Des Bryant, and we're going to talk about that, is because Cameron Meredith just went on IR. Like
Yep.
it is really just a
Again.
depth.
It's a depth thing.
It's a depth thing. Like even as
And the
fantasy
Browns
players,
need
we
the picks.
know that they have Yeldon. They're fine. Like they don't have anyone behind Yeldon, so they're like, okay,
Yeah, you
I'm
have
gonna
to
sign someone off the
be
street.
risk adverse. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Patriots. They just like reconditioned Cordell Patterson into a running back for the last few weeks. Like that was their escape route. But not
This is
everybody's
why I will never
Cordero.
own a Patriots running back. Is against my
Very
religion.
tough. 12-team PPRs,
It's a
you
beautiful
can pull
thing.
them off.
It's a beautiful
Sure.
thing what they're able to do with talent. But let's not get
All
into
right.
that.
Well,
But I think Pat's like maneuvering is going to make him okay. He's got like Maurice Harris that
odds are
everyone's
Pat's making the
feeling
playoffs.
good at. Yep.
I mean, I don't know.
I think your biggest threat is honestly.
It's Timor.
I think it's Timor, but I think Chopik is a threat if he plays. But I don't think you have to worry about that because he doesn't.
I have to hit on a few long shots. You know, guys like Maurice Harris, like you just
I
brought
think
up.
you have to do that to win in any league, right?
Yeah, but I don't have enough star power to carry me. You know, I don't have that James Conner, Christian McCaffrey.
Well, no one
Just
has.
studs on top of studs.
No one
in that
has the
situation.
studs on top
That's
of
an honest
studs like
assessment.
Sean
that I would
does.
agree with, yeah.
You know, that being said, you just
But you
all
have
really-
Rodgers, Beckham,
all you have to do is
Gordon,
make the playoffs.
Ertz. Yeah.
That's true.
I think OBJ.
And then you just need someone to have 2 bad weeks.
I think OBJ ends up finding the end zone a little bit more than he has been on pace to this season. And I don't know. I'm not.
I mean, the
He's
realistic
hamstrung by his
the
arm.
realistic
I believe
thing
you.
is I think Odell would really be so much better served if Eli didn't come back.
Oh well.
They
I
need
mean,
to, they
someone
need to-
asked.
Well, they're going to
Eli
draft.
needs-
They're going
That's
to
like
draft a
saying Donald
rookie.
Trump's bad for the country. I mean, like,
That's true.
you know,
We all know
agree.
it.
They're going to draft
Yeah,
a
we all
rookie
agree.
running. They're going to.
No, you're right.
They're going
That's
to draft a
100%
rookie
true.
running back, and he will have another year of struggles. But he got paid, and to his credit, I agree with all of his antics, like having the doubt and not wanting to own him. But he's kind of more or less put his head down and shut
No,
up.
you're
and
right.
played
You're right.
football.
He's proved me wrong
So-
this year. But like after like the last couple of years, I'm always it's like there's a lot of players that I won't want to touch, like, but I'll take them at value in a draft. Like Odell Beckham Jr. is one of them. Like Dalvin Cook was one of them. I didn't want Dalvin Cook, but like the value was so good when I got him.
That's-
Didn't pan out. But, like, I was like, he's going to get injured again. Leonard Fournette was a guy, like, I've railed on him since week 1. Like, I just don't like him. I think he's soft. I don't think he comes back from injuries. And he's kind of proving my point.
Don't say that to his face.
I wouldn't because he could kick my ass. But
I think you might be a little softer than he is.
I'm very soft. I'm squishy.
Last point on the personnel. I think Melvin Gordon is the most quintessential post-hype sleeper of all time. Like his rookie year sucks so bad, and since I've been watching him, like it's like okay, yeah, no, this guy is like a top 5.
He's
running
tougher
back.
than he looks.
He is so good.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
All right, that moves us to position 3. Our surprise, I believe he's
Who
clinched.
did?
I believe at this point he's clinched.
Speaking of people who
no
change
one's.
their name,
I don't even know if
I think Sean's the only clinch.
probably
Yeah,
because
for
I could
sure.
be 7 and 5.
But I think Hooven is like a week or 2 away from clinching if he keeps this up, which good for him.
I'll be the pessimist here.
good.
All right.
Other than his Antonio Brown, you have a lot of guys that are very good, very talented, but easily you could see other players on their team taking the spotlight.
Yeah.
going from the flex, you have Robert Woods. He could have a down game with Cooper Kupp coming back and, Brandon Cooks and all the other players on that team. You just never know how that game script's going to go. Jordan Reed, pretty underwhelming this year. A talented guy, but what can you see? Keenan Allen, he had a good week last week, but he's been a little bit up and down. James White, you just never know with all these running backs in New England. Very game script dependent.
I would move Chubb right into that James White slot.
Same thing with Joe Mixon, though.
Yeah.
Gio Bernard's coming back either this week or next week.
Yeah,
you just don't know how that's going to shake out. And then Cam Newton got the shit kicked out of him today. So there's just a lot. This team could really go either way.
I really want to beat him this week.
He could really go either way.
Which would help everyone.
His starters are solid. I mean, he has a good bench depth. Tyler Boyd's been great this year.
He has really good bench depth.
But even Alshon, on the bench, you just don't know how that's going to shake out. They have Golden Tate there now. And so he could be someone who's just a victim of too much talent around his players.
Yeah.
Alshon might fall off a little bit. I'm going to turn this around, and I'm really glad I'm the optimist on this one because I love this team. I would like to take this team right now because I feel like his biggest deficiency is probably just the fact that you mentioned Jordan Reed has been underperforming, and it's time to move on. But, other than that,
Well, with everyone in our league holding 3 tight ends, that might be hard to do.
This is the kind of team that actually breaks the mold of what we were talking about because I think top to bottom it's covered. You got Cam and Goff at quarterback. Week in, week out, you're going to have a top
Other than tight end, you could see everyone on his team putting up 20 points.
Yeah, and he has a wide receiver and running back. He's got Mixon, White, and Chubb.
And Deion Lewis.
Exactly. And Drake is his 5th running back then. That's insane.
Yeah.
And he's got Brown. I think Keenan Allen is due for resurgence. He looked really good against Seattle, and he did this last year where he wasn't that good, but he's been getting lots of yards. He's going to
Chargers
turn it
win
up.
games.
Robert Woods. Ever since week 1, where he had 30-something yards, guess what his minimum yards total is since week 1? Don't click.
Minimum yards total since week 1?
Since week 1.
89.
Well, he hasn't gotten 89 every game, but he's gotten 70 or more every single game. That's 1,300 plus yard, probably 1,400 yard pace. He hasn't scored a bunch.
He hasn't reached the end zone since week
positive
4.
regression. You got Rams D. Their playoff schedule. I was looking. They have the Eagles in one game, but other than that, at Detroit, Chicago, and at Arizona. Those are not. I mean, when they get Aqib Talib back, that is actually a nice bench stash, or at least defensive stash. Boyd at wide receiver, we didn't even mention that.
Right.
This team.
I mean, you look at his ranks. Other than Chubb and Alshon, everyone's 25.
I would
below at their
probably
position.
trade my team right now for this team and know that I was.
How many Browns does he have?
Win it. All I'd have to do is upgrade my tight end.
He only has 1 Brown. I wouldn't do it.
I agree with
just the Chubb.
I agree that Jeffrey might fall off a bit because of Tate, but I mean, long story short,
He doesn't need him though.
the rest of the season outlook for this team is very promising. I mean, I love Joe Mixon. Maybe he's not a top RB1, but the depth is here.
He can almost have too much depth though. These are your classic situations where you just overthink it.
But the thing is, it's just he's deciding. I always love the problem of deciding between top 15 players in the position, and that's his dilemma. So, Hoove, well done on you, man.
Yeah.
Your team is looking really solid. Just figure out your Jordan Reed situation. And
I'd like to take a pessimist stance, though. I don't think he can win it all because his team's name is Fitzmagic's Wild Ride, and he doesn't have Fitzmagic.
fantastic point. Yeah.
So.
And now that
Doomed.
Now that we've given all this advice, we're gonna have to air.
Speaking of team names, I will be changing my team name this week. I held off on it for superstitious reasons, just because I was playing well. But
it needs to happen now.
I really actually started losing
I actually need to change my
once
team
I
name.
dropped those 2 players.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Humble brag, I started Duke Johnson in a 12-team league when someone dropped him, and I had a desperation because I had Sony Michel and a bunch of running backs on by. So I just was I'll throw in Duke Johnson, and then I'm washing dishes at 11:15. Does Duke Johnson have 2 touchdowns for me right now? Are you shitting me?
That's beautiful.
Ooh, so lucky. All right, let's move on since Mike's doing something funny over there with the porn.
To the girly man himself.
Oh shit, it's me.
It's your turn.
Oh man, I would almost rather take a pessimistic take with my team, but
Sure.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Do it.
Who wants to
self-deprecating
build me
and
up so
I'll
I
let
can
Pat build
break
you
me
up.
down?
I'll build you up. You have Todd Gurley.
Done. That's all you needed.
So that's a guaranteed touchdown, literally a guaranteed touchdown every week.
It's gross. It's gross.
As the year goes on and the Patriots start battling for seeding, they might start targeting Gronk a little bit more, especially in the end zone. They really stay away from those routes in the middle of the field where he could potentially get injured. But when they need it, they go to it. And they may need it more later on this year as they start to battle for the top 2 seeds in the AFC.
I love my kicker.
Every week, Aaron Rodgers is getting better. Devontae is just a stud there. I mean, he's the 5th overall this year. Emmanuel Sanders, possibly the most surprising top end player this year.
That was one of my best picks.
I mean,
if not my best.
Just absolutely amazing. Your bench isn't great.
So I'll give the background on that.
Matt Ryan's the number 2 ranked quarterback this year.
Yep, he's been better than Cousins.
High five for game scripts, man.
Yeah, that was a lucky pickup for me because Cousins has just been like he's quarterback 9, but like last week 6.4 in a good matchup. Like it's super unpredictable. He is. If you look at his point totals, he has like 2 games of 31.7 and 34.5 road games. Like, at Green Bay, at the Rams, where they were like, okay, we got to throw for 400 yards. But it was super unpredictable, especially because the Rams game was like on Thursday night, and we asked the question, like, do you start Cousins? I didn't, but Matt Ryan still put up a bunch of numbers. So it's nice to have Ryan where it's just like consistently solid. And then he's
the type of person that's good. He's just, he's a pretty talented player in general, but he's really, really like benefiting from his team giving up a lot of points.
Yeah, their defensive injuries were really disappointing
this
season.
I mean,
that team
4 or
would
5
be
starters?
contending. That would be the best division in the league easily, and it still might be. But if they hadn't lost Deion Jones and Ricardo, they lost Brian.
They lost a couple corners.
They lost a safety. I think
they lost safety. 5 starters.
Yeah,
good players for them, and I mean that's really. A best case scenario for a fantasy quarterback is a very talented quarterback with good receivers.
Look at the Bucs.
With a team with shitty defense.
The Bucs quarterback is top 5, as in if you just called
aggregated.
Exactly. So yeah, like what's been happening is I've had a number 2 waiver claim not all season, but the last 3 weeks that I've been holding on to because I'm waiting for something to happen because I'm 7-2, so it's now looking towards the playoffs, and I'm waiting to see okay. Is Gurley going to go down and everybody's scrambling
Does
for
someone
Malcolm Brown?
drop Calvin Ridley, for example?
Yeah. Now my hand is kind of forced. But I've been looking for an RB2 all season because Alex Collins, did you know he's top 5 in RB touchdowns? He has 6.
Wow.
So he's just been 40 to 60 yards and a touchdown almost every single week. But it's pretty unreliable. That team isn't very good. So Baldwin's usually disappointing.
Playoffs,
Teef was railing on me after week 1 of my Baldwin draft pick, and I was basically saying it's because of injury. But at this point, you kind of have to realize now he has a groin thing.
How old is he?
It's kind of a lost season. He's 29. I'm almost positive.
I was on the anti-Baldwin train, but I was on the positive Baldwin train going into the draft. But after the injury, I just kind of was like, I think this is a bad year.
And my bench looks shitty because
Tyler Lockett really just took his position as the guy out there.
Yes, with less targets, more explosive. But my bench looks trashy because I have to roster a second tight end because Gronk has been injured all season, and I've been holding on to this RB2, hoping to figure out who's going to be good, and I'm letting people go like Duke Johnson, who I could have picked up this week, and it's that might improve my team. I was trying to think about it, how good could Duke Johnson be rest of season? A solid RB2, a poor man's James White, maybe. But how good is that going to be for me? That's basically Alex Collins.
Is that enough?
Yeah. So I've been holding out to see can I get something better?
Yeah, I mean this time of year you always see some guys that end up being possible difference makers on the waiver wire,
right?
For whatever reason, injuries, people coming back. We talked about Duke Johnson just now. We talked about Calvin Ridley and that drop. How do you guys feel about Des Bryant?
Well, can we get to that in just a...
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we talk about it.
Hit that in just a sec. Yes, absolutely. Mac has looked solid. I hope that is my RB2 by association, basically by the rule of attrition. So I like Mac a lot. So
there's nothing that gets me harder than a running back, a 3-down running back.
Yeah, and he's
that's
a good
the
one.
last couple weeks. That's how it's been for him. And
so basically, I have four. I have
good offense.
If you look, I have 6 Qs on my freaking team right now, and my team is a bit of a return to the a couple good insane players like Gurley. I'm basically cheating by having Gurley, and then there's
you
not
have
a lot
classic
there.
Cole team, just full of injuries and a bunch of talent.
Yeah, well, I would take Hooven's team over mine, and that would be my sum up. But I still feel like I'm going to make the playoffs, and if everyone's healthy come playoff time, let's go. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that leaves the last team.
The best team.
The best team. The team that I think probably it's hard to take
I can
a
pull
pessimist.
pessimist.
All
on
right,
this.
do it.
All right.
Make us proud.
I think Zeke, he gets work, but he's been so inefficient. I bet his yards per carry in the last 2-3 weeks. He's got 17 for 61, 15 for 33 in his last 2 games. So I feel like his yards per carry is going down. That offensive line's middling at this point. So it's all the Mahomes show for him. Obviously James Conner with Bell back in Pittsburgh this weekend. I feel like he is going to sign and might not play week 11.
I felt like it wasn't going to be an issue. I felt like if everything stayed as a status quo, that Conner, they were just going to ride him out. But he might have got concussed tonight.
And he's still going to have
worst case scenario.
Yeah, so if he's not healthy, then they're like, yes, please, Bell, get in here and get 15 touches. But if not, I still feel like what they're going to do is they're going to have Connor's in the backfield and Bell split out wide a good amount of the time. He's that good of a receiver. James Washington, he's not the guy this season. They have Juju, Brown, and Justin Hunter. They could put Bell out in the
Split
wide, and just do some creative things. So I feel like they're going to kind of split it up. So Connor's value is no longer going to be an RB1 in at least 2 weeks, maybe even sooner.
Maybe borderline RB1, RB2.
Mike Evans, his playoff schedule.
What happened to him last week? How did he only have one catch for
in
16
championship
yards?
week for Mike Evans is at Baltimore, at Dallas. Get me out of that. So Kittle has been incredible. I love him. Jordan Howard is a really good sell high right now. I'm not really super high on his
You
outlook.
look kind of like George Kittle, actually. A little bit.
You pick any white person.
No, look at him.
I can see it.
Honestly, doesn't he look a little bit like George Kittle?
Not even close.
I mean,
you
look like
you're
you look like a version of George Kittle that's not good at football.
That's fair.
You know who you look like, though? You look like Chris Carson. Now that I've clicked him.
Yeah.
You look exactly like Chris Carson.
Yeah.
It's a lot of guys that the thing is
Juju Smith's shirtless.
So I feel like his team has. If I'm going to try to stay on track, there's a lot of guys that have had that value a week or two ago, and he's continuing to adapt and evolve and overcome as Sean does, just as an owner, what Sean does with his roster. So a lot of these guys are trending down. John Brown's another good example where I really, really liked him, but that team is kind of just imploding right now. They might turn to Lamar Jackson in the final few weeks of the season, so John Brown is basically nil. And so he's got Bears D, which is redonkulous in this league because we really play into Bears D has more points than Jordan Howard right now. I'm just looking.
Jordan Howard is trending up though.
Is he?
I mean, he's been
his
getting a lot
efficiency.
more touches.
I like Tariq
He's getting a lot more touches recently.
It's because of the matchups. It's a totally game script dependent. They played the Jets and the Bills in the last 2 weeks, and they
have Minnesota coming up.
And in the playoffs, they play Green Bay. And the Rams. They're not going to be running Jordan Howard between the tackles against the Rams.
San Francisco though, week 16.
Exactly. I just feel like there are chinks.
You
in
can
the
change your
armor
lineup in those playoff weeks, right? Week to week.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mahomes' playoff schedule. He's got at Oakland week 13, but then Baltimore, Chargers, at Seattle. That's not good. I mean, it's Mahomes, so you don't care. But it's I just feel like there are things here, all said and done, he wouldn't be my pick to win it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Based on the matchups, and I feel like Sean will figure things out. He will be competitive. He will be dangerous.
We can't let a season oneer win the league, guys.
I'm going to go ahead and be the optimist here because I think,
go on.
I think overall talent just wins out.
His talent is the best, bar none.
The Kansas City Chiefs, their offense is just so unique. They're going to get their points even against good defenses in a lot of cases, just because they're so diverse. You know, they attack people in so many different ways. All those jet sweeps, all those little bubble screens off the edge. You know, Mahomes hasn't had a bad game this year. His worst game's been against Jacksonville. It makes sense. You know?
It was a home game, too.
I mean, Seattle, the Chargers, those are defenses that should be good, but they haven't been good.
Chargers will be good come week 15.
That's what everyone says, but they haven't been good.
They've been getting a lot better.
You know, is Joey Bosa going to be the guy that he was last year when he comes back? Like, we don't know. James Conner and Mike Evans, to me, are the ones that are a little bit scary. But, I mean, Smith, Schuster, Kittle, just so much talent on his team. You know, maybe this is a good time to go ahead and talk about
Zeke in
the
week
trade
13, 14 has New Orleans and Philadelphia top 5 run defenses as well.
And then, you know you're going to be down against New Orleans, too. So, you know how many carries you're really going to get.
Exactly.
But that being said, touchdowns were 6 points. You could go for 20 yards and you have a touchdown. That's a decent
I'm just
game.
calling it now. I'm calling the matchups being his bugaboo in the playoffs.
We'll see.
Book it.
Let's go ahead and now that we've had some time to digest this, evaluate the trade that Sean and I made earlier in the year. So earlier in the year, Sean offered me a trade. It was, and I'll tell you a funny little anecdote about this, but it was Golden Tate, Kerryon Johnson. I believe that was it, and he offered me.
He offered knowing Pat, I've been friends with this man for many years. I'm just going to look up what it is just to be absolutely sure what the trade actually is.
I'll tell you what it is.
He's already wavering.
I sent him Golden Tate and Kerryon Johnson, and he sent me back Phillip Rivers, Will Fuller, and Lamar Miller. Now, talent-wise, I obviously picked Golden Tate. I obviously picked Kerryon Johnson. I liked those guys. But the reason I did it was Aaron Rodgers insurance. This was after week 1, after Rodgers fucked up his knee, and having a team streaming, Nathan Peterman, Josh McCown seemed like a lot worse than picking up Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and did it. I loved Will Fuller. I always have. He actually started playing great. Unfortunately, tore his ACL. Overall, obviously, Sean won the trade. The funny part, here's the funny anecdote. After week 1, Sean goes, yeah, I really wanted Randall Cobb, but I didn't know you weren't going to give him up, so I went ahead and just traded for Golden Tate.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, Sean seems great, but, he wanted Randall Cobb, so luck helps.
You have to...
Yeah, luck does help.
In order to evaluate the trade, you have to, erase the, knowledge that Will Fuller's out for the season.
Sure.
Because that's not fair. So if Will Fuller was in right now, I would probably... and the Tate trade to Philadelphia. You have to assume he's still in the Lions. Right. So it's like 2 Lions versus these 3 guys. What would you do, Mike?
Sure. I mean, at the time, I would have done what Pat did. But, hindsight's 20/20. It's fantasy football. It's all luck. Texans
let's be real. For Lions, go.
Basically.
And Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
I mean, to me,
I like
there
Phillip
was
Rivers,
so
though.
much of the air with
We
Aaron
go
Rodgers
about this
after
every
week
week. Phillip Rivers has a punchable face, but he's a fantasy man.
And
he's not a beast, though. I've realized this season, he's just a really high floor guy. His upside has not been good, but he's scored 2 touchdowns, basically just 2 touchdowns every single freaking
I know.
week.
I always give him that benefit of the doubt because he won me a league one year. So.
And he's smashing all the time. He's got 9 kids.
Yep.
So
smashing Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So I don't regret doing what I did. I think it was the right move.
Mm-hmm.
After no one knew what was going to happen.
You don't
to Aaron
need to
Rodgers.
tell us.
Missing Aaron Rodgers. So
I mean, shit. I traded Julio Jones.
But both those guys are on his
Julio
bench.
Jones.
So
Kerryon has looked amazing. I watched the game against the Vikings.
He's good.
He looked like a scared motherfucking rookie in his game last Sunday. You should watch it. He was lost against the Vikings. He was as scared as Matthew Stafford.
Like head wise, you didn't know where you're supposed to be, or he was scared to take hits.
Yeah. I mean, it was just kind of in his body language, and so I think more the former. Just his running was not decisive and and also splitting out if he has to hit a guy and then break out for a route, it was just it was lost. There was a play where Stafford's it's mainly on Stafford, but Stafford broke out of the pocket, and he's running next to Carrion, and he sees him out of the corner of his eye, and he tries to flip it to him from 2 yards away, and Carrion's just like, what the fuck? He wasn't expecting the ball,
Right.
and it was a pick, and it was a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and they
a rookie. It's a
and they
rookie
brought
thing.
in Theo Riddick right after that. They were like, okay, like this is above him.
It's
Like,
a rookie thing, though. I mean, like, those are situations you have to go through.
I generally like love the guy. It was just like a little eye opening of just like, okay, you look totally lost in this game.
He's going to be a top 12 running back next year.
Agreed. I mean, their coach and their line is getting better, and their coach wants to emphasize the run. It's very clear.
Yeah,
and turn Stafford into an efficient passer.
He's going to be a top 12 running back next year, in my opinion.
So probably a
Third round pick.
late second, early third round pick at that point.
I don't think he's going to. I think he will draft in the late fourth, high fifth. But
No, he's going to go at least in the top of the fourth
Yeah.
next season.
I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. So
Well,
we went through
that's our
everyone's
whole
teams.
team.
Mike's so bored right now. It's
I'm not
amazing.
bored. That is the opposite of the truth. I'm actually very interested. It's just more along the
He
lines
needs a
of
smoking pipe right now.
I'm just a little tired. I just don't sleep that much these days.
But
Also, I did change my team name while we were doing that segment because Pat made a good point about superstition, and I just was like, I'm not winning
You never
with this
know.
team name. Might as well give it a shot.
You never know.
Will fuck for wins.
We'll fuck with it. Look at my team picture.
I like that one.
The team picture is what makes it.
I will say that I think there's something to change
Is
your
that
team
Patrick?
name.
Yeah, it's Patrick from SpongeBob.
Just his mouth.
I didn't know he had a tongue that long.
You will.
I will say for changing team names, there is some juju that goes into it. And the year I won this league, what was
Yeah.
that, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
3.
3 years ago?
Yeah, because Cole won last year. I won the year before.
Do you remember why I changed my team name?
No.
Changed my team name because you went in and changed the setting on my team for some reason.
Oh, yeah, because you texted Teef. Well, Teef said that you gave him permission to have your team name
Right,
changed.
team lied.
Yeah.
And then someone went in and changed my team name.
Yeah.
And I was angry that someone,
Yeah, I changed it to
Settled
Mike
around.
Hacked my team.
So I changed it to Mike Hacked my
I
team.
remember that, yeah.
And then I won the league under
Yeah.
the team name.
Yeah.
Mike Hacked my team.
Yeah.
It is bad juju to keep your team name if you don't have a said player like Fitzmagic, Hoove. I'm like giving you all this like cred, and you're not realizing your team name's stupid.
Stupid.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
keep it.
You
'cause
too.
I hope you lose. I will change mine too. Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't won since I dropped those guys. So.
Yeah.
So
So we have like some stuff on the agenda, but I feel like we're about 15 more minutes. I don't know if we get through everything. So do you
fuck
want,
you. Let's go.
Do you want
Okay.
to pick your? Oh yeah,
Let's
let's
make it
rapid
quick.
fire.
Let's make it
let's rapid
fast.
fire the middle segment, and then let's really just enjoy the
Yeah.
last segment.
Okay. Real fast. The playoff structure. When we have 2 weeks going, week 13, 14, 15, 16,
Yeah.
what if, real quick,
Okay.
we switched it to week 14 is a bye for the top 2 teams. And then week 15 is, week
Yeah.
14, 3 and 6 play 4 and 5.
So there's 3 rounds of playoffs now.
Exactly.
And that means 6 people make the playoffs.
Exactly. So it works best in a 12-team league. But basically what you're doing is you're extending the possibility of making the playoffs longer. So people like you would not feel like they're out of it right now.
Correct.
And so we eliminated week
I'm all
17,
about
which
that.
is absolutely the most important thing.
Yeah.
The ESPN standard rules are week 14, 15, 16, 17, which is bullshit. So we moved that up. But the problem is, like, people that are 3 and 6 right now even are just virtually out of it. So
Here's the issue I personally have with that. If I'm Sean in this situation and I'm 8-1, 9-1, and I lose in a fluke week to someone who just
because
gets
of one
hot,
week,
I
Do you
mean,
know
You
Like
would
two-
get a bye week.
yeah,
you get
I
a
understand
bye
you get a
week.
bye week. I don't think you should be able to make playoffs if your team isn't 500 or above. Generally speaking,
that's probably true.
something that I think would be cool, and I don't even know if this is a possibility, like on ESPN or any of the other platforms.
It's pretty rigid on a lot of them.
What would be cool, and I don't know if this is real, but you do an MLB style thing where week 14 or 13, depending on if you want a 2-week championship or not, is do or die wild card matchup only between seed 4 and seed 5. It's a play-in.
I like that. 'Cause
It's a
then
plan.
Then
And then the top 3 teams get buys, and then you do your normal 2-round playoffs after that.
We could do that. Well, we wouldn't get
And
two rounds.
it's just kind of exciting.
It would make the
you know?
first round of the playoffs a one-round playoff. Because
it's less fantasy in general because 8 teams are the bye,
Yeah.
essentially. That's the only downside.
I just kind of like the drama.
But that'd be kind of fun, though. Like the drama of it. I like that. We'll definitely put it up for a vote at the end of the season because I like the idea of restructuring it so that more people have a chance to get in. Because I think like the more people who can possibly be in it, the more engaged the league gets.
Or we could do it in a different way, where only top seed gets a bye, and the top 5 teams.
I don't think the matchups work well. We won't belabor the point. The point I would make is like we improved off of the former system. 2 potential improvements are the mentioned
divisions in fantasy are
the system that I suggested,
basically the work of the devil.
and then I honestly think that like worst case is how most 10 teams work in the real world is just week 15, week 16, 1 weeks, and you have the top 4 teams. But you have 14 weeks of the regular season, and you have 1 week playoffs of just like win or die. And that's actually
I like the win or die thing.
I've been doing that with my
I
oldest
think the
league
Super
for the
Bowl
longest
honestly
time.
should be the only 2-week.
I'm a fan of the 2-week Super Bowl personally.
Yeah, I think the Super Bowl should be 2 weeks, but I think the playoffs could still be 1 week in that system because
I think there's
that's how
something
you
here.
got there, right? You had to win, and this.
So we're gonna have
I
to
think-
figure this out.
yeah.
And when we do, we're probably gonna have to switch platforms, and I'm gonna be happy with it because I'm not a huge ESPN fan. So.
I'm a huge ESPN fan personally. I just think it's the easiest. Well, have you managed a lot of leagues? Because I've managed a few.
I have not
I'm gonna
been a
tell
huge
you right
manager,
now,
but
it's the only one that's really easy to manage. Everything else is a huge pain in the dick.
that can always change, though. Everybody switched over in basketball from ESPN to Yahoo, for example.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yahoo's a pain in the ass for managers, though.
yeah. There's other platforms, but we'll figure
But we
it out.
can definitely look into it.
We're gonna get there, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to jump into some NFL news real quick?
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's talk about Dez. I want to talk about Dez.
Over
talk
under
about Dez.
over under on touchdowns for Dez. We were talking about it earlier. Let's set it at
I give
4.5.
Sure, I
rest
give
of
him
the
a
season.
Okay, if it's 4.5 is the over under, I give
think
him a
the
solid
Vegas
4.
over under is probably going to be would be like 3.5.
3.5.
I think
And
that's
what I
a more
said.
realistic over under.
Yeah.
I'd go over the 3.5. I give him a 4. I think
I
he's
would
gonna get
also
those
go
4
over the
touchdowns.
3.5. There's 7 games left. I think he's going to get 5 touchdowns.
And I would go under and take y'all money.
You don't think Drew Brees
You
is
want to
going
make a
to
bet right
find
now?
Sure.
Okay, wait.
$20?
Okay,
4.5.
3.5.
Well, you're pushing the line.
No, it's. I mean that.
My point was like that you wanted 4.5 and you said over.
All right,
and
4
I
to
was-
break even.
4 to break even.
Fuck, that's so shitty for me. But
What's
it's
the
fine.
bet? A beer?
I
Just
said
out?
$20, but
No. Oh, you did?
yeah,
All right. I'd rather just buy a beer out and about.
sure. I like that. Absolutely.
all right.
Yeah.
That way
You're
you
going to
won't
owe me
hang out.
beer at the end of the year, so you can always transfer me the beer that
Beer debt.
owes
Beer
you.
debt transfers.
Yeah, because we had a bet earlier this season. I said that Kareem Hunt would have a better rest of the season than Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, you did.
6-pack of beer. And Tim was like, "No, Leonard Fournette, man." But Leonard Fournette sucks a big bag of dicks, dude.
But it's the thing was, it was like injury exclusive. It was literally the week he was supposed to come back, and he re-aggravated the injury.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of escaped that one because you basically just won. Period. So I'm buying you a beer. Basically.
3 down backs on the best offense team in the league is generally a good bet.
Really?
You wouldn't think it, but it's true.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to talk a little bit about like who our most exciting players like to watch are. I don't think we have to go too in depth, but like just like
And this kind of melds with. They're also the most exciting to own because they're so much fun to watch.
yeah.
I traded. For me, it's Tyreek Hill. I traded him in a league this year.
I traded him
and
too.
I immediately regretted it just for my pure enjoyment on Sundays. What was it? Week 1, he took a kick return to the house. Like that just made me excited.
And he took
for football.
that drag route
Yeah,
where he just was
from
running
right
to
to
the
left.
sideline and just like, phew.
Yeah, I mean, like
You
having
just
guys
watch
like that-
innocuous plays where he's not even involved, and you're like, whoa, who's that guy? Because he's
Yeah.
just like extending the defense.
Having anyone like that that's just that electric is just fun because you just never know if they can break out for it.
And like biasly, my pick for the like most exciting player to watch was Saquon Barkley, just because like as an owner, I'm like, all right, he's got 20 yards. It's the third quarter. Don't worry. it's gonna happen. And then like he'll just have that 60-yard fucking
They're always
touchdown
up
run.
the sideline too. All his runs always up the sideline.
And he always stiff arms a motherfucker while he does it too.
I love the highlights for the guys you mentioned because like Saquon's run, I think against Jacksonville was so ridiculous, and Tyreek obviously speaks for himself. I mean, like this season, he's going up for passes and over DBs, bringing him down. Like he's just what a talent. But like I would choose Alvin Kamara. Because, like, every single play is entertaining. Like, he is the slipperiest player the league has ever seen. He is, like, 6 foot, like, 215 or something. Like, not, like, physically imposing. But, like, he sheds off tackles, like with fucking style.
I would like to own him next year. He's on my agenda.
He is so fun to watch. Like, play
He's
in,
what
play
Deion
out.
Lewis prays to God that he will turn into.
Yeah. Well,
it's what
I mean, Deion Lewis has the like spin move, like shifty left to right. Like Kamara is just like shoulders downfield. Like you're taking bad angles no matter what. They were like in the game against the Rams, he basically like kind of stuttered this one, and like LaMarcus Joyner like lunged at him, and he let like 2 Rams go by him as he like just was like, nope, you missed me. Like he hurdles a player almost every other week. Like
I'm generally a huge fan of any player that like played at a big time school, but just didn't get their due because, it's Alabama, playing college football. Like, how's he really going to fit in? It's like, so I love the Devin Booker story. He was the 6th man at Kentucky,
right?
But he's the best player on that team. It's like, it's fun to have. It's almost like a mini underdog story.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm one of my favorite players like that. Same college as Kamara. You just made me think of him, John Kelly. He's just like sitting in the backfield for the Rams, but he's eventually going to be a hell of a player. Like, So Kamara is just so fun to watch. The other thing I would want to bring up as a like counter one to this: who is your least favorite player to watch based on like how good they are value wise, but you just really can't stand to watch them play. You know what I mean?
Well, Eddie Lacy that year, he was really good. Was pretty shitty to watch.
That's true.
That's
2.8 carries, yards carry, and
that's a good one.
44 touchdowns or something.
For sure.
Gosh, I would have to think about that. My least favorite player to watch. I don't like watching Phil Rivers, to be honest.
That was one of the first.
I hate the way he throws.
Oh yeah, Tim mentions this every week that he has an ugly throwing.
Yeah,
motion.
what I've realized to make it more entertaining, right when he throws, make this sound. Do you remember the South Park where do you remember the South Park when they're being haunted by Christina Aguilera dolls because they're all Ritalin, and she goes bang. No. Like every single time you watch him throw the ball, just go bang. and it actually makes it really fun.
He's perfect timing. Perfect timing every time. Gosh, I would have to think about that one.
I think Jimmy Graham's my least favorite player to watch right now.
Right now, maybe. When he was on the Saints.
When he was on the Saints, he was so good, and that's why. Because, like, I just remember this guy just being such an imposing force, and now he just looks kind of... And how'd that happen? Like, the Seahawks is how that happened, by the way. Fuck you, Seahawks. No, the Seahawks... I swear to God, Russell Wilson broke Jimmy Graham. Drew Brees raised him above where.
Derek Carr has been very hard to watch the past couple of years
because I liked him so much.
You know what he can do. Like you love the story. His brother had such a hard time.
He was so good that season.
He used to be like this little fat tub of lard when he was a child, and it was like this feel good story.
And then you watch him cry.
Yeah, now he's just like kind of a little bitch.
Yeah.
Ooh, real quick, 2 honorable mentions for me. Players I love to watch. Both running backs. I would say the 2 most influential running backs in our generation.
Ooh.
Adrian Peterson.
And Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, man.
I love watching Beast.
God.
I love watching AP. Watching AP this year has been great because everyone's a fucking...
Marshawn Lynch, you're not watching this. We all know that.
Honorable mention for me.
But please, God... Yeah. Switch teams, Marshawn Lynch.
But to me, every AP run this year has been just a big fuck you.
Yeah.
It's been great. You just know he's trying his fucking hardest.
Yeah.
So.
You know who I hate watching actually? Royce Freeman. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I can't
Fuck
say
that guy.
I've seen a single
so much potential, and he lost it to Philip fucking Lindsay. God damn it.
I do love watching.
But you have Philip Lindsay.
I love watching Nathan Peterman play too.
Yeah, but I'm still mad at Royce
just
Freeman.
Just because something funny.
I drafted Royce Freeman in like the 4th, man. Fuck that guy.
He's like by stats one of the 10 worst quarterbacks that ever played the game.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to watch people like smash their hand in a car door. It's like the same feeling with Nathan Peterman.
Mine is actually weirdly Cam Newton. I don't like watching the Panthers' offense.
It's not a fun offense to watch.
It was fun, and I've complained about his throwing motion as well in the past because every time anytime he has to stick a throw, he throws his head back. You know how, like in baseball, you're supposed to keep your head straight? You know, he throws his head like this every time he throws the ball. And case in point tonight, he just he shat the bed in the Super Bowl when I bet on him. And it's not even about that. It's like on Sundays, I don't want to tune into Panthers games because his game is boring.
I love how Cam Newton,
when he gets into space,
when he scores a touchdown, gives a game ball to a kid every time.
I like that.
I do.
That's so cool.
So I like him.
He takes a fine every
I'll give
time.
that.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, he was a misogynist prick when he called that reporter out. Just I think it's funny to just hear you talking about routes.
That's true.
For sure. I mean,
douchebag.
Look,
that'll segue into our next point.
Wait for 2020 Beto O'Rourke. Women are going to get there. Wait
for it. Oh, they already did, man. Shit, we put a lot of women in the house.
It's been a great year for that.
I'm happy about that. That made me happy.
Yeah,
but
women.
I also
pro-women podcast.
I know we all like him, but I still hate watching Russell Wilson. So
yep.
I mean, I'm a Niners fan, so whenever he gets out of the pocket, I think that's part of why I hate him so much. Is watching the Niners not get him, and it's get him. He's right next to you, and it's just if you're rooting against him, it's
that's some
miserable to watch.
Shit with the Seahawks.
I think you have some issues.
No, me too.
Oh, I hate the Seahawks, dude.
Me too.
It's funny that you hate Philip Rivers and you hate Russell Wilson because Rivers smashes all the time and Wilson never does.
And Wilson never smashes.
Him and Ciara hooking up in this one?
Wilson's so pretty.
They must have done it a couple times, but they didn't before they got married.
Wilson's so pretty.
Got married.
You'd think he'd smash more.
Congrats, Russell.
Yeah.
I know you're watching.
Have fun being a stepdad.
All right. Let's finish it off with a final segment for 5-10 minutes.
Pat, this was your idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that
we all deal with.
I think a lot of people do.
Except for Justin.
Except for Justin. He hasn't found a boyfriend yet. But,
God.
Yeah. Don't worry. Colorado's progressive, bro. But yeah, is navigating the dynamic of having someone in your life you love, a partner, female, that also doesn't love that you spend 15 to 20 hours a week watching football.
Cole, too. But my thing is that I take care of all of my duties before my football watching. And I've been reaching out to Game Pass all season. Let's go. Let's get our first sponsor, NFL Game Pass, because for $100 a year, you get to watch every single game on condensed replay. So on Sundays, I get to kind of watch the box scores, not really pay attention. For me, I cook dinner, nights that I'm home, clean up, Ruth goes to bed, tuck her in, go into the living room, watch a little bit of football. 30 minutes of a real good game. I got to watch Packers.
You're an angel.
I got to watch Packers, Patriots, Rams, Saints this week. It was fantastic, and I got to watch it in the comfort of my own couch. I got to sit there and replay plays that I really.
See the appeal.
All those Kamara fakes.
I see the appeal in that. The weird thing to me is, I'm a huge proponent of DVRs. I DVR every Warrior game, and I go watch it after it's over, and I stay away from the result.
You have cable. You're a rich motherfucker.
Well, I have friends that can't even do that. They anytime that something's not live, they can't watch it.
Sure.
But I couldn't.
This guy.
I couldn't do that. What you do.
Yeah.
Because I would if I were to do that, I would have to not check stats all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so.
It's good because I skirt
Red
the
Zone
highlights.
Is the best.
I skirt the highlights most of the time.
I like Red Zone. I'm a big Red Zone.
It gets
fan.
old after a month for me.
See, for me, my issue isn't really my relationship because Claire doesn't give a shit if I want to watch sports. She's totally down with that.
Same with the Roots.
Are you married?
She'd rather. I mean,
are you married?
No.
Oh, weird. I wonder why she doesn't give a shit.
No, that's not. I mean,
I'm just kidding.
It's just true love.
She's not that type of person though. She. The thing is, Claire and I have very different interests. So we have the same interests, but in some aspects we have different interests. She'll want to watch a musical, or she'll want to watch Star Wars for the fourth or fifth time. In the past 2 months because that's what she loves, And so what we do is we just, when we want to do different things, we just do different things. And that works really well. The thing that stops me from watching sports is fucking work because I'm doing these 80-hour weeks. I haven't sat down for all but one Sunday. I've sat one Sunday and
That's
gotten to watch
crazy.
football.
So in
that was
this
because I went to
scenario,
Chobik's house, and then I ended up cooking the whole fucking day, and I didn't watch anything.
see, so in this scenario, your girlfriend is work.
Oh, for you,
know?
for you, yeah.
You know, it's kind of like that's what your time suck is.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying my wife's a time suck, not at all. But
No, you guys have a
But
good relationship.
it's we don't get to see each other that much during the week.
That makes sense.
Because I commute, and she goes to school and she has tests, and so the weekends are our time to really hang out.
Sure, us too.
Unfortunately, they're also the time for football, and so.
Well, that's what I do. I choose to spend Sundays with the lady, and then I get to watch afterwards.
Yeah, maybe
and
I'll do
that's
that.
That's hard for you.
Maybe I'll try to transition
Yeah.
to Game Pass or something like that. But it has been tough. Like
I
when
highly
grew
recommend
up,
it.
when I was growing up, my father was a huge football fan. He
literally played for the Chiefs.
He played for the Chiefs for a couple weeks. He ended up blowing out his knee.
Whatever. He adorned
He did
the
it,
Chiefs
though.
uniform.
He looked like me with muscles, but
and less belly.
he was a big college football fan.
Yeah.
So what he would do is he would wake up in the morning, and it was kind of like a blend of what me and you do. He would wake up in the morning, he would mow the lawn on Saturdays, he would pay the bills, and as soon as college football kicked off, he would sit in a recliner
It's church.
and sit there all fucking day. And that's just how it was. And I grew up wanting to be like that. Like, Marie and I get into it sometimes just about, like, maybe
Yeah.
watch too much football. And to her credit, she tried playing fantasy last year. She watched a full game of Red Zone with me, a full day of Red Zone. And at the end of it, she was like, I fucking hate this.
She's
this
an
is
awesomely
terrible.
honest person.
She's so awesome, and she's so honest and
She's
so blunt.
taking us to
When you have to
the
give-
Raiders game
And
for your
she
birthday.
is, we are going to Raiders game for my birthday.
You have to give her credit for trying, too, for sure.
Sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess what my point is that it's in my blood, and this
I'm the
has
same
been the
way.
deal from the start. Like, I'm a sports person through and through, and in our vows, I vowed to watch a little less sports.
But only a little, he said.
Yeah, I
It's
said
very
only a
specific.
little.
Yeah.
So it is
I have
something
it
tough.
recorded.
It is something tough to navigate because it's if someone's not into it, it's hard to include them.
It's just like each time that you're together, you choose what activities are important. So, like, if she has something she needs to get done in that point in time, you let her like do that, and then you might have the game on because she's like doing that, but you might be like half watching, half contributing to whatever that might be, or like contributing to household duties. For me, it's that I go to bed later than Ruth. She wakes up earlier than I do, so that's like
You have
me
that time.
I have my
I have that
designated
too.
me time, but like it's always good to, and I always make the choice when I'm with Ruth that like she'll be like, no, watch the game, and she doesn't understand that it's like a Monday night game between the Cowboys and the Titans, and it's commercials, and if they're commercials and it's the Titans and Cowboys, I don't give a shit, So it's like, yeah, I just had that on because like I'm cooking and I'm listening, but like put something on, and I'd rather watch something else, and then be like, I'll just watch it later.
The way my dad and my stepmom do it is actually really interesting. Like, they spend most of their time together, I think. I think, like, as you get older, you have more free time, right? Because, like, that's the other thing is, like, you're, right now you're commuting a lot more than you're going to be commuting.
Sure.
Right? And, Marie's in school, but she's not always going to be in school, right? I'm working 80-hour fucking weeks right now. And, like, as
Hopefully
it's
you
been
won't
brought
always
up,
work 8-hour weeks.
as it's been brought up multiple times, I look tired today.
Look at you. You were acting it.
You look less tired than Tim looks like Philip Lindsay.
That's true.
But they love their Texas in football.
During the
That's
break,
called a callback.
they let me know that I did
love
that.
it.
I had
That's
no
called a
idea.
callback, ladies and gentlemen.
Bring it back.
But like now my dad like commutes like 5 minutes and works. Gets off work at 4 p.m. and is able to support his family to the point where like Krista works to an extent, but like doesn't have to work too much. So they see each other every day. And so when he's in the kitchen cooking dinner at night, and stuff like that, or we're over, he has a TV in the kitchen with the sports on, and she hangs out and watches. Like
They're
she's
still
into, like, the
interacting
murder mysteries.
and whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
like
He gets it in where he
It's the-
can.
It's all about balance.
it's coexisting.
It's all
Yeah.
about balance, right?
And look,
But
I wish I
fantasy-
could watch football all day every Sunday, but you don't have to watch it all day every Sunday.
Not with Game Pass.
Well, honestly,
One thing I will say though, we just left the best time of the year for sports, but the worst time of the year for coexisting relationships with sports when all 4 major sports are still going on.
Yeah, that's rough.
You know, you have the World Series happening, you have NHL started, you have the basketball beginning, and you have the thick of it in football. So it's like there's always something to watch.
Women's rights suffer in that month.
They truly do.
Month of October is brutal.
Yeah.
You might want to learn how to knit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, you know, the other way I've done it with Claire, like, she wanted to be in, like, our fantasy league, and I was like, well, there's not really a slot, and you also don't watch football, but she, like, you know, takes that interest in it, but then, like, when we actually sit down to watch football, she's not really into it. She's really into the Giants, though. Like, I got her really into watching Giants baseball.
San Francisco Giants,
Yeah. So we watch that, and she has, like, a great time, but it's mostly, like, if I take her to the live events, that really helps, like, 'cause she gets really into that. Or if we make it fun for both of us. Like, you know, maybe she's not into football, but I'll cook something really good, you know, to go with it.
I like that.
Yep.
You know.
Or maybe you just start playing drinking games every time someone scores a touchdown.
Shit, yeah. I mean, like, make it
Take a
fun
shot.
for everyone. Like, because, like, not everyone's into football. Like, we used to, in this league, when it first started, we had my former business partner, Jason, in the league. And he didn't know fucking shit about football. But what he found fun was coming for, like, you know, to watch the fantasy points accrue and get drunk. Like, he likes that part of it, you know. So that's fun for him. So I think you can tie anyone into
Everything's
it.
kind of fun when you're drunk. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some more of the story here.
That's a good point. You know, good strategy by Jason.
Even podcasting is fun when you're drunk.
Point taken. I think point taken all around. I think we have.
I think we nailed it this week.
I learned something this week.
Gone above, beyond everything.
I feel good.
I just have to mix fantasy football
With alcohol.
with things that Marie loves, and then it'll be.
She
fun.
likes really good food. You
If
could
she gets
probably...
drunk, if she gets drunk at 11 a.m., she won't be hungover the next morning.
Yeah.
Let her watch, like, put on the Puppy Bowl, make, like, some legit
I mean, I love the puppy
simmer.
bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Who doesn't like
You're
the
watching
Puppy
it, too,
Bowl?
while you make her some delicious...
skipped the
like,
halftime show
brunch
last year.
food, slow cooker, whole deal, serve it up, be like, and then... Just put on a little, and then
Marie's
after
a
an hour
foodie.
and a half, be like, okay, now we're gonna like go on a walk. We're gonna go outside. But I watched like the opening touchdowns. But honey, I need to get back by 12:30 because that's when the real actions are.
Here's a question: would you rather have pretty shitty like upper seats to the Super Bowl, or as much playtime as you want at the Puppy Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Puppy Bowl.
I think I might go with the Puppy Bowl.
Super Bowl.
I've heard that going to the Super Bowl is actually kind of a shit experience because of how long the commercial breaks are. You end up just sitting in these seats, and it's a bunch of people who aren't fans of the team because it's not local to wherever
Right.
the teams are. And so it's just, the atmosphere is not as good.
I would have wanted to go to the Niners Super Bowl.
Dude, the best game I've ever been
Niners.
to, I mean,
That
like,
would've been a tough one.
quick
Blackout.
aside,
My friend Eric was there, but yeah.
yeah, quick aside, the best live sporting event I've ever been to was a 49ers game. It was the Packers-Niners playoff game when Cap broke the rushing record.
180 something yards.
Yeah, that was the
Niners
best.
Packers, yeah,
Yeah, Niners
all
Packers.
those read options.
Did you
Yeah.
know when
That was
the
the
Niners
best.
played the Packers on Monday night, the Niners had something on their website where they were commemorating the
Yeah,
best
they didn't have Cap.
Packers-Niners moments. And they were like, oh, sorry, when someone pointed out you didn't put any of Cap's games against the
Oh, my
Packers.
God.
That's
They
egregious.
forgot about
All
it.
I remember about that game is Clay Matthews just chasing Colin Kaepernick around the edge.
Yeah.
and not
and
ever
then
catching
and
up.
then and then the Harbaugh interview after. If you're a man, you don't come to someone's face with an open hand. You come with knuckles. You don't come with a slap.
Yeah.
That's like one of the all-time best post-game press conferences.
Who did he say that about?
Pour one out for
Clay
Jim
Matthews.
Harbaugh.
He slapped Joe Staley when Joe Staley got mad that Clay Matthews tackled Kaepernick in the
Late whistle or something.
Yeah.
Was
late-
his helmet off?
No, he slapped Joe Staley on the helmet, like in the face. But like
That's such a weird.
But so then
comment by
Harbaugh was like, if you're a man, you don't come with
I
an
remember
open
Harbaugh,
hand.
that.
weird
You don't come with a
Harbaugh.
slap.
That's like back of my
Harbaugh, you
memory.
kind of look like Jim Harbaugh, actually.
All right, and with that,
And with that, we'll see you on the next episode. Peace out from me, Pat, and Jim Harbaugh.